All righty. Clear the tower. Meave Douglas and four others are in. Welcome, guys. Don't do a lot of Instagram lives, but I'm jointly going live on Instagram and YouTube at the moment. Totally you or no, total, I'm sorry, totally outrageous 80s. What's going on? Good to see ya. Waiting for YouTube to get on board, but in the meantime, saying hi to all my Instagram followers. What's going on, Frenchie? CA Louvre, hello. Lively Learning, SAJ, what's going on? Good to see everybody coming on board. Happy Thursday. Sabretooth, hello. Headhunter is coming in from Vancouver, Canada. Wooder coming in from the Netherlands, a Netherlander. How are you? Good to see you. Chansey coming in from Texas. What's going on? I see three people over on YouTube land. Say hi when y'all jump in. South Carolina, what part of South Carolina, Roar? I'm coming up from you from the Panhandle area, Fort Mill area. What's going on, everybody? Gen Xers and other generations alike. South Jersey in the house. Joyzy is here. California. Rochester, New York. Sledhead, how are you? City and state of my birth. Highland Hospital born. Winnipeg, Manitoba, over on YouTube. How are you, Rebecca? Good to see you. Yeah, I was born in Highland Hospital, Rochester, New York in 1970. Actually, both of my kids born in Strong Hospital, Rochester. We lived in Rochester before coming down to live in the Charlotte area. Before that, I lived in Buffalo for about 12 years. Go Bills. Always go Bills. Next year is the year. Never said that before. Maryland, not North Dakota. Cold and snow. Yeah, I heard it's not great here either. It was nice here last week, and then Indian Land, South Carolina is where I am actually fretful. Do we know one another? Yeah, I live right in Indian Land. That's pretty cool. Here, let's see. Home of the Indian Land Warriors. Going on? Hello from Norway, Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Hey, Sarah, what's going on? All your families from Rochester. How are you, Sarah's happy days? Good to see you. Cold in Indiana, I guess. It's cold in a lot of the country. I heard it's even raining and cold in California. Oh, it's Andre. What's going on, Andre? Good to see you, buddy. Nah, you got me. I didn't recognize the fretful. Usually I thought it said Andre. So back in the Charlotte area, spent last week in Orlando. Haven't really had a chance to talk about it. Spent the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Megacon Orlando. And I don't know how many of you guys saw the videos. I tried to share as much as possible. I still have so much content that I have yet to share. Live panels with the Breakfast Club, Molly Ringwald, Judd Nelson, Anthony Michael Hall. It was incredible. The Supermen, everybody basically, but the most recent, and of course those that we lost, were there. Henry Cavill wasn't there, but Brandon Routh was, who was, or Routh, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, from Superman Returns. Tom Welling was there from Smallville. Tyler Holcomb, might be pronouncing that wrong, from Superman and Lois. Dean Cain from Lois and Clark. Even Tim Daly from Wings, who voiced the voice of Superman in the animated series. That was an awesome panel to be on. I streamed live over on my YouTube channel most of the panels I sat in on. Katie Seagal from Married with Children looks amazing. Gotta say, everybody just looked and sounded awesome. Favorite shoot to make? I'm assuming you mean favorite shot to make. Probably straight vodka or straight whiskey or straight bourbon. Been doing it a long time. So easier is better. What do I think of them making a new St. Elmo's Fire? I am all about taking it to the next story. I love when they do a sequel. I like sequels within the time. So like Back to the Future 1, 2, 3. I love that they did those. I don't mind that there's been a lot of years between the two. So if they take a movie we loved, and I loved St. Elmo's Fire, and they do a sequel to it using the same cast and see how they aged as we aged, where Billy is today. I'm all for it, especially since all of the cast seems to be on board, and they're writing a script. I'm pretty happy about it. Thoughts on gin? I like gin. I prefer a gin martini actually to a vodka martini, although I'm not one for straight liquor for the most part anyway. I probably go with the gin and tonic. Rambling Llama, how are you? Good to see you, Melissa. I haven't seen you in a while. Who else is in there? Bassist, don't know what to say to that. The old shop, hello. Don't I miss living in the lake effect snow area? I don't. I really don't. Sequel's way better than a reboot. Yeah, I don't like reboots. Hey, Tracy, I don't like reboots. I just don't. I like come up with something new, do something different. If you have a story, see, and they change our original so much in the reboot that I don't even know why they do it as a reboot. Just if you're going to change so much about the original story because you think it's now problematic or it's no longer politically correct, we've evolved to a point where the original story has to be changed. I'm not arguing with any of that, but if you feel that strongly that you need to change it, make a new movie. Change the names of the characters. Change. I mean, it's not the same movie anyway. Why pretend it is? Did I meet the guy who got the life-size Operation game? Not yet. I didn't. I don't think he was at the event with me, but if he was, I would have loved to have met him. He's doing some cool stuff with those games. 45. My body is starting to fail you. I don't know. I'm 55. I almost said 54. I turned 55 earlier this month, and I don't know. I don't feel any worse than I did 10, 15, 20 years ago. Honestly, just had a physical, and my blood work is disagreeing with that statement. Cholesterol's up, sugar's up, lots of stuff are up, so I'm going to have to deal with that. Should have called and dealt with it today, but I put it off. What else? What else? What else? Topic change. What I've tried to explain to my kid what a landmine was, he didn't believe me. Are landmines not out there still? I mean, it'd be great if they weren't. Got your first colonoscopy on Monday. I've been putting that off too. Lots of things that need to be done as I'm entering my mid 50s now. Born in 66, not in my house. Those are four words that send chills down my spine. OMG, apes. Heard that a lot growing up. Heard it in Greek, oisto spitimu, but it meant the same thing. That's a video I could do, things my parents said. Because having Greek immigrant parents, I wonder how much of things my parents said match up with things that all parents said. Not in my house was a big one. Thasiskotoso, I'm going to kill you, was one I heard on a daily basis. What else? What else? Alimonosu. God help you, or it loosely translates into something or someone better help you. That was a big one. A saying in Greek that I never heard in English was better for someone to rip out your eyes than to tarnish your reputation. Growing up as a kid, all my parents had was their good name. They were very proud of the fact that they had a sterling reputation in the small town we grew up in. And whenever we did something to embarrass them, it was never so much that we did it to embarrass ourselves. It was never that we were hurting our reputation. It's that we weren't being bad kids. We were making the perception true that they were bad parents. And my parents did not like that. I think they would almost be okay if we did shit as long as we didn't get caught. It was the getting caught that really pissed them off. What's going on, Wirehead? Good to see you. Gen X Kate, how are you? It's good seeing you. Yeah, I think my parents were fine as long as we got away with stuff. They didn't like the getting caught because that made them look bad. Kevin Pearpoint, how are you? I still have, landline. I heard landmine. Oh my God, my brain is gone. A lot of people are getting landlines back. They're called family phones or community phones. And they're being pitched on a lot of social platforms as a way of kind of like the life alerts we had as kids. They're bringing back the landline as a tool for safety for everyone in the house. So if you need to reach the home, you can reach the home rather than an individual person. And people find that it's groundbreaking. It was like life changing to have one of these things in your home. And the kids are talking about, like, wow, you can call the house. Like if you wanted to talk to a specific person, you'd call their cell phone. But if you really just wanted to reach out because there's an emergency going on, well, these people have these community phones now, and it's amazing. I've fallen and I can't get up. Can't get away with anything as an only child. I had to get creative. See, I thought it'd be easier, Sledhead, to get away as an only child. Because being one of three, my mom just had to get one of us to turn. So she had three times the opportunity to scare the truth out of one of us. Danielle says, just noticed it's Peter Gabriel's birthday today. One of my favorite individual artists. I did not realize that. I brought you into this world and I can take you out. My parents didn't say that one. I heard that one a lot from friends of parents and things like that, but that didn't translate well over into the Greek. So I never heard that one. My mother, as well as my father, would curse the mother who made you. And you can substitute the word curse for any number of profanities, but I always thought that was funny. It was kind of like your mother calling you a bitch, because she's actually like defaming herself by doing so. But that was a common slur. Just this anger that, F the woman who made you. And I'm like, well, that would be you. That was a fairly common Greek thing at the time. These kids will never know the horror of being on the phone with a girl at 11 p.m. on a school night and her mom picking up the other line saying, who is this? How about the horror of waking up at 8 in the morning to go to school and realizing that you didn't hang up the phone while speaking to your girlfriend long distance the night before? Back then, lines wouldn't automatically disconnect. There were times that if you didn't physically hang up the phone, then you were still connected. And that meant that long distance charges accumulated for the entirety of the phone call. True story, actually happened to me. We had a $280 phone bill that month, which doesn't sound like a lot to some, but back then it was a lot of money. I heard, boy, I'll put my boots so far up your ass. Mr. Gallo, who was one of my early bosses, older Italian gentleman who owned the clothing and shoe store I worked in, would often tell me if I didn't find a second gear and find it quickly, then he would shove his foot so far up my ass that I would be tasting leather. So that one I got, but from my boss. My mom always said, don't piss me off or I'll take you back to the hospital for a refund. Anybody's parents tell them that they found them in the garbage? That was also a common one. We found you in the garbage. You're not really our kid. That was the joke, that they found us in the trash and brought us in, and when they can just as easily take us back out again. Back then it was a mortgage payment. Yeah, no, that was a huge phone bill. My parents were not impressed with me that day. If you bite your fingernails, you'll grow a hand in your mouth. I never heard that. My dad, I did do the watermelons in the stomach one, though. Milkman's baby. Imagine kids hearing that one today. They don't even know what a milkman was. Now, that said, I don't know how many of us actually had milkmen, but it was still close enough to our childhood that when it was mentioned, we understood what it was. Or we'd watch old episodes of TV and there would be the milkman, but we never had a milkman. My mom said sometimes they think you were switched at birth. That one worked with me because of the blue eyes. My parents are very, very Greek, both of them. And blue eyes were not something that ran in our family. So that was one my parents would joke about. My older brother told me I was adopted. He even did a backstory. My real name was Steve. And I bought into it because he would tell me, he's like, look at you. You don't look like the rest of us. We had a milk woman, says Tracy. All right. Yeah, I never had a milk person of any kind. Now, funny story, my parents owned a restaurant that before we bought it as a restaurant, it was a dairy. And it had like this huge like cooler system over by the wall. And we actually sold milk when I was really little in big like gallons to the public. So we were the milkman, I guess. Y'all remember milk? Do they still do, like, I was opening up a carton of milk the other day. And it had the twist off on the top where you pull the tab and then you just twist the circular thing off to pour the milk. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Do you remember what we had growing up before that? I hadn't even thought of this, and probably I don't remember the last time I saw a milk carton, but nothing would ruin your day more than we used to have to open the milk carton from the top. And it really only opened cleanly on one side. Do you remember opening from the wrong side and now both sides at the top were kind of open, but only one would pour from? I would do that constantly. Both sides, Slug says. Yeah, and only one side really worked. You pulled from the wrong side, and now it was just all warped. And I did that kind of, it used to piss my mother off royally. My mom would beat you with whatever was in arm's reach. My mother could have worked for the CIA. The woman beat us. She turned anything and everything, including her bare hands, into a weapon. Does Canada actually use bags of milk? I remember when I would spend summers in Greece, there were bags in the milk, and we put the milk into a pitcher with the bag. And I don't think it was homogenized because there was something like this buttery, heavy silt, something at the bottom of the bag. It was disgusting. I didn't drink milk in Greece. Even the right side was the wrong side, right? Because even if you did try to open the right side, sometimes it wouldn't work. Pick your paddle, pick your switch. Worst was the wooden spoon. I got the wooden spoon a lot. I got spanked so often. And I've got some friends that are like, well, it didn't really hurt. They didn't mind the spankings because it didn't hurt. Mine hurt. My mom never left marks. I was never in anything I would describe as beaten, but I was spanked a lot, and every spanking hurt. I don't know if our parents had a lot less patience for us back then, if we were a lot worse as children back then. I'm not sure which is the answer, or maybe a little bit of both, but I got hit a lot. You know, the whole expression of don't cry over spilt milk. I remember getting spanked over spilling something got you spanked. Breaking things got us spanked, even if it was an accident. If we broke something, that meant a spanking. If we got dirt on our good clothes, if we wore our school clothes out instead of our play clothes, if we wore our church clothes instead of our good clothes, if we went outside with our school shoes instead of our play shoes, there were a lot more rules back then. I don't remember the last time any kid ever said the word play clothes, but we had play clothes. And our hand-me-downs, and there was like this pattern, right? You'd buy new clothes, which would eventually become hand-me-downs for a younger brother, which would eventually become play clothes, and clothes had a longer shelf life. Number one, because they were probably built to last, like a lot of things, and also because our parents were broke as a joke and couldn't afford to replace things easily. Used to get the slipper going up. I got the slipper a lot, DJ. Wirehead confirms the bagged milk in every province of Canada. No shoes in the summer. I remember running around. I still don't like shoes, but I mean, what are you going to do? I wear them. What's going on, Ingmar Baby? I remember Sears Toughskins. Dude, Toughskins. So jeans, kids today don't realize that denim, what we wear as jeans today, that's not denim. That's some sort of denim, elastic, lycra mix. Denim is like a suit of armor. Denim has knees that don't bend for the first 12 washes. If you ran around in your Toughskins, and that meant running like this, the first 3 or 4 or 5 times you wore them and took them off, your legs would be blue from the dye wearing off. Corduroy pants, equally painful. Sort of like an early warning device that you were on your way because the let people know you were coming. Toughskins came in different colors too. And then I remember in the 80s, late 80s, pre-washed denim became a thing. And everybody wanted it because that looked cooler. It wasn't quite as dark blue denim. And then you started to realize whose parents had a little more money to spend because it became kind of an uncool thing to show up at school with stiff denim, with really blue denim. If you were cool, you had the lighter blue pre-washed denim. My mother refused to buy pre-washed. She's like, why would I buy something that's already been washed 10 times? That's 10 times older now. Let's see, Slugger and others are talking about stonewash and acid wash, two different things. Stonewash was actually beaten with pumice stone to give it a different look. And acid wash, of course, with that god awful splotchy, looks like I splashed bleach on my jeans look, which was in the late 80s and early 90s. Jeremy Hawk reminds us, excuse me, sir, are those Bugle Boy jeans you're wearing? Well, of course they are. Never had Bugle Boy jeans. Had Bugle Boy box? No, that was Joe Boxer I'm thinking of. No, I don't think I had Bugle Boy anything. If you had ripped jeans, you were picked on when I was young. Ripped jeans didn't get me picked on. Patched jeans did. For some reason, where I grew up, it was okay if your jeans were ripped. That showed you were tough. It wasn't as cool if you had them patched because that meant that you ripped your jeans, but you were too poor to get new ones or not cool enough to be allowed to wear ripped ones. Let's see. Leaper77. Hey, John. Are you happy to be home at this point? Thank you so much for all of your Megacon videos. I had to miss out on it this year. I was able to live through some of it through you. I'm very happy to be home. I missed my my kids and stuff, and I don't like traveling. It was good for the brand. It was good. It was a good thing for me to do. It was a great life experience. I am very much a family guy. I like being home with my kids. I like being home with my wife. So it was tough to be away. But my oldest daughter went with me, but she's 21, and well, you know how that goes. I couldn't get her out of the hotel room half the time. We turned our ripped jeans into jorts. Yeah, Daisy Duke did it for the women, and I don't know who was responsible. The 70s, even for guys, had the frayed, ripped, cut shorts that then turned into a more hemmed-looking jort by the 90s. But yeah, this is an unexpected live. I was scheduled to bartend tonight, but took the night off because my mom is visiting. We have friends coming over, so I just family coming over as well. So took the night off and figured, well, if I'm not working, well, then I should be working, and decided to come online here. And this is kind of work. Did I go drinking around the world with her at Epcot? I didn't, because we didn't do Disney. We did Universal for one day because a follower was kind enough to gift us with one day's worth of Universal passes, so that was kind of fun. We had butterbeer, which evidently is not beer at all, but it was pretty good over at Universal. Also non-alcoholic. Tracy, have a good night, honey. It's 11:20 in the UK. She is going to bed. Goodbye. While I was watching computers, bottled water was invented. I remember Cavaricci jeans. Never had those. Only punks were wearing patch jeans in Sweden. So patches were just not a good look here in the States. It really did mean, and again, things were different depending on where you grew up. Where I grew up, it was a sign of poverty. Again, for one thing, it was okay for them to just be ripped because that could have happened yesterday. Patched jeans meant that someone took note of the fact that your jeans were ripped, needed them to last, and so they patched them. Poor patches, says Slugs. Yeah, poor patches. That's kind of the idea. Howdy from Oklahoma City, from Johnny Drummer. How are you? Oh, sounds like everybody has arrived downstairs, guys. So I just wanted to go live real quick. Got a few new videos that are up and posted. Two of them I think are hilarious. If you haven't seen them already, check them out. We are going live with the 3-view mirror tomorrow, 5:30 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. If you haven't caught an episode, we invite you to be part of our virtually live studio audience tomorrow. Not sure what the topics are, but we'll all find out together. 3 topics from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and an hour to figure out what the hidden connection between those topics is. That's tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time on YouTube. Other than that, see you Sunday night for the Wonderful World of Gen X. We do that every Sunday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time to talk all things Gen X, and that's on my Facebook page and YouTube page. Did I have a Juno computer account? You know what? I might have. It sounds really, really familiar. Something that I hadn't thought of in a long time, but it sounds really familiar. Appreciate you, Wirehead. Appreciate all of you. Subscribers, thank you. Those who've joined on the YouTube page, thank you. Those who give donations through Super Chats on my platform over on YouTube, thank you. I really appreciate you guys. Each and everything you do to help donate to the channel makes all the difference in the world. Thank you, Rum Runner. I really appreciate that. Say skibbity toilet. I'll say skibbity toilet Riz. No problem. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Nothing but love going out to all of you. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep Gen X alive. Share with younger kids, younger generations, and let's all be good. See you Friday, tomorrow. See ya.